morning, all. Today we are going to start a new topic, which is on beams curved in plan. Okay. So in the first unit, we have successfully finished torsion shafts. Okay, springs. So different types of springs, different types of spring connections and all. Okay. And the new topic, which is today, is beams curved in plan. It can also be called as a curved beams. Okay. So it can also be called as a curved beams, right? So in this module or in this topic, so the content which you are going to cover is an introduction to the curved beams. And the second one is circular beam, which is loaded uniformly and supported on symmetrically placed column. And the next topic is semicircular beam, simply supported on 3 equally spaced supports. Okay, these are the 3 topics which are there in this module. In this content. Okay, so we will try to cover one by one. So today we will first know about what do you mean curved beam. Okay, what exactly you know about curved beam, how you can differentiate the curved beam with a straight beam. Okay, guys, in your strength of materials 1, I think you all analyzed a beam under load and you have calculated shear force, bending moments and all. What type of beams they are? In your strength of materials 1, the beams which you already dealt with, they are all comes under straight beams. Okay, okay, that is what is straight beam. So now we are going to discuss about a curved beam. Okay, so first let's see the difference between straight beam and curved beam. Yeah. See, basically straight beam carries only bending moment. Okay. Guys, everyone should come within the time. If you are coming in between, I need to admit everyone. Okay, right. So, straight beam usually carries only bending moment and shear force, whereas a curved beam carries shear force, bending moment, and torsional moment. Okay, so the extra parameter which comes for the curved beam is a torsional moment. Okay, why this torsional moment comes into picture? Why it is not for the straight beam? Why it is only for the curved beam? Okay, so that we will see. So in the picture, it is clearly shown the straight beam. Okay, sorry, straight beam. It was like this, right? So these are all called a longitudinal beams, where the centroidal axis of these beams, if you see the centroidal axis of these beams, so the centroidal axis of the beam will coincide with the neutral axis of the beam, isn't it? Right? If you see the neutral axis of the beam, this neutral axis of the beam and the centroid of the beam both will lie in the same plane. Correct? But what happens to the curved beam? In the curved beam, this is your neutral axis, okay, and the centroid of this curved beam won't be same. That means centroidal axis and the neutral axis won't lie in the same plane. Okay, that is what a curved beam. Because of not lying in the same plane, therefore curved beams will be subjected to twisting. Curved beams will be subjected to torsion. Understand? So that is the main reason why your curved beams are subjected to torsion also. Okay, right? So if you want, let me show in detail, okay, with the picture. Guys, so let us take a square cross section of the longitudinal beam. Okay. So this is the neutral axis of the beam. right? And this is the centroid of the beam, right? So the neutral axis and CG will always coincide in the same plane. Okay, so they always coincide. But when you take your beam, which is a curved beam, a beam which is curved, okay, so this is your neutral axis. Neutral axis always indicates what, Amma? Here the neutral axis length will be equal to length of the curve. Okay, if I want to calculate what is the total length of this beam, this total length of the beam I have to calculate only with respect to neutral axis. Why? Because this length L1, this length L2, will it be same? L1, L2 same? Will L1 and L2 will be same or not?
No, sir.
No, right? So if I want to calculate the length of the curved beam, I need to see what is the neutral axis length. Okay, so based on this only I can able to see the length of the curve. But what happens to the centroidal axis? Here, the centroidal axis will be at somewhere away from the neutral axis. Okay, if you see the curved beams of the centroidal axis will be this. So this is the centroidal axis. Okay, so these two won't be same. When the centroidal axis and the neutral axis, when they are not same, what happens? There is a possibility of torsion. Okay. ఇప్పుడు చూడండి, this is the center of the section. Okay, చిన్న example చెప్తున్నాను. For the same section, this is your center. If the load is not acting at center, load is acting away from the centroidal axis with some eccentrical distance. What happens? When the load is acting at center, this member will shear. This member will bend. But here what happens? Your member will shear, your member will bend, and your member will have a torsion also. Okay, torsion means member will twist. That is the reason why curved beams are supposed to be checked for twisting also, for the torsional load. Okay, so this is the importance of the, this is the important thing where we need to understand for the curved beam specially. Okay, so let's go back to the presentation. Okay, this is what. So see the definition. Straight beams carry only bending moment and shear force, whereas curved beam has to carry bending moment, shear force, and torsional moment. Okay, so the torsional moment appears due to, moment is coming up to beam geometry. What do you mean beam geometry? Central geometry does not lie on its, does not lie on its length. Ante, what do you mean that? So just now I have showed you. So neutral axis is the length of the the central axis. These two are not lying in the same place. These two are not lying in the same place. That's why torsional will comes into picture. Okay, these are called dimensional properties. Okay, right? Yeah. So that is what you need to understand. Very important competitive bit and matter. Okay, the difference between the straight beam and the curved beam. Right? Okay, let's see. So this is the picture. Curved RC beam. Shown along the beam which is with some radius of curvature. Okay, where beams will be subjected to transverse load or vertical load. Okay. Here you can see it clearly, the picture. This is the curved beam. right? In this curved beam, blue line. This blue line is the line of yeah. So this blue line is the line of centroid. But what is this black line, black dotted line? This black dotted line is the neutral axis. Okay. Have you seen the difference? This is the line of centroid and this is the neutral axis. These two are not lying in the same plane. That is what happens in the curved beam. Okay. So I think in this picture also you can able to observe carefully. But in the straight beam, both neutral axis and line of centroid will lie in the same plane. Understand? Okay. Next, what are curved beams? What do you mean a curved beam? So basically, in the strength of materials and the theory of elasticity, okay. So usually in this curved beam, define chestamante. So it is a body whose geometric shape is formed by the motion in space of a plane figure. Nothing but curved beam. Its a center of gravity always follow a certain curve. Okay. And the plane of the figure is normal to the curve. Understand? This is what a curved beam. Ante in straight beam, the line of centroid or of center of gravity is always straight. But in curved beam, the center of gravity line will be with certain curve. At the same time, it will have with some radius of curvature. Okay, so that is what exactly the curved beam means. You should be able to answer the difference between curved beam and straight beam is, in straight beam, the line of center of gravity will be straight as per the geometrical shape of the beam. But in curved beam, as per geometrical shape, the center of gravity always follow the curve. Will always follow the curvature of the beam. Understand? So that is what the curved beam means. Next, where could we find a beam curved in plan? Where we can see all these kind of curved beams in plan? What are the examples? So beam curved in plan are used to support curved floors in buildings. Okay, in your residential buildings, there will be a curved beams. Usually, it will use it to support the curved floors. Not only floors, balconies, curved ramps and halls, circular reservoirs, and other kind of similar structures. Okay, so we find the curved beams or curved beams in plan in these applications. Let me show the pictures one by one. See, this is a water reservoir. Sir, why you are calling it as a reservoir? Why? Because all overhead tanks are treated as a reservoir. Because reservoir means storage of water. Okay, so we are storing water at a certain elevated height to pump the water through its gravity, right? So if you see the beam below the storage capacity of the overhead tank, this beam is a curved beam, right? So the beam which is supporting the whole overhead tank is a curved beam, which is supported with a number of pillars. Right? See, this red mark is a curved beam, which is having a uniformly distributed load on the top of the beam, and below the beam there are many supports. There are many column supports. Okay, so this is an example of a curved beam. And next one, you can see in this picture the beam which is in a form of a curve shape. So what is this? This is something like a roof. This is something like a roof, or on top it can also be considered as a floor, right? To support the floor or a roof, these curved beams are going to be used. You can see it clearly where the beam is curved like this. Not only that, even ramps. Okay, in shopping malls, might be you have seen the ramp which is with some curvature, even in hospitals also, right? So ramps eppudu ila curve tirugutunnappudu the beam below the ramp will be in a curved shape. Okay, ramps also will be supported with a curved beams. Not only that, even in this picture you can see it clearly. This is multi-level parking. In the multi-level parking, even in the shopping malls, you have seen vehicle which is passing through the shopping mall, okay, with a lot of curvatures, right? Even the curvatures of these also will be supported with the curved beams only. Okay, beam arrow name, just follow my arrow. So this is the curved beam, right? The beam which is supporting the pavement, supporting the road path of the right way, right? So that is what the applications of the curved beam. So the next one, why are curved beams used? Sir, why we should have these curved beams? Why straight beams are not enough to have for the certain applications? Why we have to go with curved beams? Why? Because curved beams are known to be more efficient in transfer of loads than straight beam. Very, very, very important. Understand? Curved beams enduku vaartunnamu ante instead of a straight beams, curved beams will have more efficient. Curved beams will have more carrying capacity in terms of transferring the loads. Okay. Not only that, it transfer the curved beams is affected by means of bending, shear, and membrane action. Okay, so that is how curved beams are going to be used in many applications. If you see, they are used as both columns and beams. Curved beams are not just used for columns, sorry, not just used as the beams. ఇప్పటి వరకు మీకు చూపించిన అప్లికేషన్స్ ఏంటి? Till now, whatever the pictures I have shown you, they're all in terms of a beams. Sir, curved beams and beams can't be used this beam as a column. Yes, we can use. There are also used for both columns and beams to resist the self weight, to resist gravity, wind load, seismic effect, axial compression, shear, bending moment forces in and on buildings and in kind of similar structures also. Okay. So basically, larger beams are able to support larger loads for longer distances. I think this statement you all know, isn't it? Larger beams are able to support larger loads for longer distances. Right? So when you want to increase the length of the beam, along with the length, what you are going to increase the other dimension? Can anyone? If you want to increase the length of the beam, along with the length of the beam, what you are going to increase the other dimension of the beam? Width or depth? Guys, please answer. Along with the length, what you are going to increase? Anyone? Guys, please respond. See, along with the length of the beam, you are going to increase the depth of the beam also. Why? Because beam bending can be resisted only when the depth of the beam is more. Okay. So why? Because if you see the pure bending equation, your bending stress is always depends on the depth of the section. Okay. When depth more, bending stresses will be more. Understand? So that's how curved beams are going to be used to carry different loads like self-weight, gravity, wind, seismic, axial compression, shear, and bending moment forces. Okay. Let me show you some pictures how these beams can also be used as a columns. Okay. Before that, what are the factors developed in beams curved in plan? As I told you, there will be a shear force. Shearing stresses will develop due to the vertical force, and a pure shear due to torsional moment, and the vertical concentrated load. Very, very, very important. Please note down this. What are the forces developed in beams curved in plan? Okay. Okay, guys, are you able to see my screen? Right? So please try to note down this. The forces developed in beams curved in plan. One is the shear force, where the shear stresses due to the vertical loads will be developed. Pure shear due to torsional moment will develop, and a vertical concentrated load. Okay, so these are the forces which develops in a curved beams. Okay, and as I told you, where are the curved beams are going to be used? Curved beams are going to be used not only as a beam, they can also be used as a columns to resist a different set of loads. Okay, so let me show you the pictures. So this is the one. You can see curved beam here, which is in a form of a curved shape. And this is the column. And even in steel structures, something like an industrial steel structures, roof structures, this beam is also a curved beam, right? The beam which is supporting on abutments, this is called as an abutment. Okay, so the beam which is supporting on the abutment, this is a curved beam, right? And next, see this picture, you can see both the beam and column which are curved. Kada? This is a curved beam, right? And this is a curved column. Avuna? Right? So these are the best examples. I think you have seen all these examples in your daily things. So when you come across in shopping malls, in theaters and all, you can see these kind of structures, structural elements. Okay? Right? So this is where the column can also be used as a curved column. Okay? And this is a curved. Clear? So this is what an introduction towards the curved beam. I think now you all understood what do you mean curved beam, okay, where they are applicable, how they are supposed to be designed, right? Clear? And what are the forces acting in the curved beam, right? So I think these are the important information where you have to know before knowing its applications. Right, guys? అందరికి కర్వ్డ్ బీమ్ అంటే ఏంటో అర్థమైందా? Guys, have you all understood about curved beam?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts till now? Okay, right. So now let me show you how this is going to be useful in your practicals. Okay, so these curved beams were there in your structural analysis lab. How it is going to be useful and what are the formulas which are going to be derived there, okay, for analyzing the curved beams and all. Directly I will try to show you in your lab manual. If you have structural analysis lab manual, please try to open and see it. Okay, so when you find time, please open and see it in your list of experiments. There is an 8th experiment called curved beams. Okay, So in your 27th page number, let me show you. So this is the manual which I framed for structural analysis lab. Yeah. So this is the one. Curved beams. So here in the curved beams, what you are going to calculate? Here you are going to determine the elastic displacement of the curved members experimentally and verify the same with the theoretical values. Okay. So the theoretical values I will try to show you, and they are going to be verified experimentally by applying the load on the curved beams. Okay. So in your curved beams, there are around 4 curved beams. What they are? There are circular curved beam, semicircular beam, quadrant beam, and quadrant of circle with straight arm. So these are the 4 different curved beams there in your laboratory. Okay. So where you are going to test its elastic displacement with respect to horizontal and vertical, theoretically and experimentally. Okay. Clear? Like, let me show you these pictures one by one. As per your syllabus concern, they are asking you to do 2. First one, circular loading diagram, and the second one is semicircular loading diagram. Okay. So this is a circular one. Okay. See, there is a beam which is completely circular. There is a beam which is completely in circle in shape. The beam mottam round ga undi, circular beam antaru dinni. Okay. It is also in curved nature, but it is completely circle. For this beam, when you try to apply load, what happens? Okay, let me show you here clearly. See, this is your curved beam. Curved beam, which is having some enough thickness. So because all beams are made up of some plates, kada? Okay, right? Okay, yeah. So the beam, so when it is subjected to load W, what happens? The beam, curved beam, will have a deflection like this. It will deflect like this. Ona? Okay. You can see only the vertical displacement, which is delta V, in the circular curved beam. Okay. There is only vertical displacement. Why? Because this circular curved beam is completely in a closed loop. There is no horizontal displacement takes place. There is only a vertical displacement, which is delta V. What is this delta V? That delta V is nothing but this W R cube by 4 pi EI of pi square minus 8. Under Kanpistunda? So here see clearly, W is the load. And what is R? R is the radius of the circular beam, right? And E is the Young's modulus of the beam. And the beam which is made up of steel. So what is the Young's modulus of steel? That is E. And I is the moment of inertia of the beam. If the beam is a square cross section, okay, and the moment of inertia of the square cross section is BD cube by 12. Okay, where B and D are same. Okay. So with that, you can able to calculate the vertical displacement of the curved circular curved beam, and you can compare this delta V value experimentally by applying the load and calculate the delta V with some dial gauges. Okay, you need to place a dial gauge over here. Whatever the value you get in the dial gauge, that dial gauge value should be same with the theoretical formula, which is WR cube by 4 pi EI of pi square minus 8. This is how you are going to compare your theoretical value with the experimental value. That is what about the circular loading diagram in a curved beam. Next, see the semicircular loading diagram. Okay, so let me show that also. Let us take a semicircular beam. Okay, so which is supported here. Beam ila undi. So this beam is supported here. Okay, right. Let me apply the load here. W. What happens? Load apply చేసినప్పుడు ఏమవుతుందమ్మా ఇది? What happens? How it will get? See, when you apply the load, what happens? So member will try to bend like this. Avuna? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Member illa bend. Okay. So here, what happens? You can find a vertical displacement, which is delta V, and the horizontal displacement also, which is delta H. Okay, this happens in a semicircular curved beam. Okay, so here you have to calculate both vertical displacement and horizontal displacement with the help of the dial gauges. Okay, you can place a dial gauge over here, apply the load. Whatever the dial gauge you can see, you can note down the vertical displacement. Even in the horizontal and vertical, you can able to place two dial gauges. Okay, okay, dial gauge ila untundi, inko dial gauge ila untundi. Okay, both vertical and horizontal you can place, and you can note down the reading. So this value you have to compare with the theoretical formula of vertical displacement and horizontal displacement. Okay, what is the formula? See, delta V is equal to W pi R square by 6 EI. Horizontal displacement is WR cube by EI. So you have to calculate these two values and see whether the values are similar with the dial gauge readings or not. Okay, that is how you are going to compare theoretical value and experimental value for the semicircular loading diagram. Okay, and then R will be the radius of the semicircle. That's it. Okay, so this is how the curved beams are going to be analyzed, especially with respect to its displacement. Okay, because usually shear force bending movements we can able to do, but if you see the straight beams will have only the vertical displacements. Avuna, straight beams ki vertical displacement maatrame untundi, but for the curved beams you will have both vertical displacement and horizontal displacement. Okay, why? Because the beam was curved in nature. Okay, there is a possibility of displacements in both x and y directions. Understand? That is how the displacements are going to be calculated like this. And there is a third one, which is the quadrant of a circle. Quadrant and 1/4 of the circle. The support will be here. So you can see the beam which is curved with a quadrant. Apply the load. Again, even in the quadrant of a circle, you can find the two displacements, vertical and horizontal, and these are the formulas of the vertical and horizontal displacement. And the fourth model is quadrant with a straight leg. Here the quadrant is supported straight at its radius. Kani, in the fourth model you can see clearly the quadrant which is supported with some straight leg. Okay, instead of having support here, there is a leg of height y where it is supported. Apply the load, and what is the deflections? Delta V and delta H. These two are framed here, where delta V is equal to this and delta H is equal to this. Right? So this is how the curved beam concept is going to be checked theoretically and practically in your structural analysis lab. Understand? Because in the first day of the class only I told you clearly, every theory will be supported with some experimental work. Strength of materials too. Many of concepts are supposed to be tested practically, where you can do it only in structural analysis and strength of materials laboratories. Okay, that's how you can able to compare the theoretical and experimental values. Okay guys, so this is what in the tomorrow's class we will just see how the circular and semicircular beams are going to be derived. With that, we can able to finish this topic. As I told you, this is very simple and easy topic. So where you can able to come across some theoretical question from the curved beams only. Okay. ఎందుకంటే ఒక్కొక్కసారి అడగరు కూడా, ఎందుకంటే in the first module you have major topics like torsion and shafts and springs. There is a possibility of questions from those topics alone instead of the curved beams. Okay, but anyway we have to finish it. Okay, so tomorrow we will see how the circular cross section and semicircular beams are going to be supported with the derivation for calculating